What up? Back here at the Cutlass again. Had somebody ask me what it took to do the 3.8 to 350 swap. Uh, every little detail situation is going to be different. Um, first of all, if you're going to go with the pre-existing transmission, like I did, my transmission was good, even though it's just a little turbo hydro 250, which is exactly the same as a 350 bolt pattern wise. You have to buy the BOP to Chevy or GM transmission adapter plate, and it'll also go backwards. You could go Chevy to Buick Olds or Pontiac. First and foremost, really, like when you go to ask for parts and whatnot, you have to treat this like you're working on a Monte Carlo and not a Cutlass. So after you have your adapter plate and all that stuff, you'll need that. Yeah. Anyway, you'll need that because obviously you need a transmission in your car. Duh. Anyway, next, the engine mounts. The engine mounts are down there. Those top two bolts right there, these two, they fit in the holes pretty much right where they're supposed to, but you'll have to either drill a hole or, like we did, we just cut a notch with a Dremel metal cutting disc. And the bottom, if you get these clamshell type like mine, the bottom, the very bottom hole down here will hang off the frame, so you're only bolting it down with 3 bolts on either side. I don't know, you can't really see it maybe if I go down here like this. Yeah, there it is, hanging off. Next, you'll have to get a radiator, and pretty much anything G-body will fit 78 to 87, I believe. This one came out of a 79 Chevy Malibu. The fan shroud, this is the old 3.8 one. I just use it to keep the radiator strapped down. If you take the AC condenser out, if you plan on taking the AC loose like I did, and take your compressor off, whatever, you probably really don't need the proper fan shroud, because mine runs about a little under 190 degrees, and I drive it about 25-30 miles back and forth to work every day. Not too good on gas, obviously, but yeah. Then you have to relocate your fuel line. Fuel line comes in through the frame right there on this Oldsmobile, so we just ran it down across the frame over there, over to the fuel pump right there. Really not that big of an issue, and I just ran mine behind my alternator right there. Yeah, you have to also, your transmission cooling lines that go into your radiator here, back up under there, you'll have to like bend them out of the way because the headers are different, or if you just have the stock manifolds, it's different. But you just have to bend them out of the way. If you bend them carefully enough, they won't kink, and you'll still be able to bend them however you want and not mess them up. Thirdly, I don't know if it's thirdly, but just running all the vacuum lines. You got one that comes, if you're using the Turbo Hydro 350 or 250, there's one that comes from the side of the transmission. You should have like a metal rod tube. Cooling hoses will be different, so you have to get those right. I mean, all in all, if you have a pretty good running engine, it's really not that expensive. Let's say I got $54 in the adapter plate, $30 in the engine mounts, $50 in the radiator. I got that used off Craigslist. If you buy a new one, it'll be way more than that. And basically like $50 in random hoses and vacuum lines and stuff. So I mean, it's really not that bad if you already have your engine and even if and transmission. One thing I do have to say is if you do plan on using a Chevy Turbo Hydro 350, you better make sure that's a short tail one. And you'll also have to get a different cross member for underneath. But if you just use this Oldsmobile Turbo Hydro 250 or 200 R4, you can still use the same existing deal. But yeah, that's about it really. And then mainly it's just about figuring out how everything goes, man. So the biggest issue we had was the frame mounts, the motor mounts on the frame, and also the proper linkages for your throttle cable and whatnot. Pay attention to what type of transmission you have, because there's different throttle cables to go to different carburetors. So that's about it, man. If you have any questions, anybody, just go ahead and post and I'll respond. Thanks.